we have plenty more outside if you'd like to take some back home with you. But my name is Kelly Schultz, and I have the honor this morning of introducing our new president and CEO, Walt. Some of you may remember Stephen Perry, who was our president and CEO for 20 years, and he decided to retire last year. But fortunately, in 2019, he brought in Walt to join our organization. Walt is an attorney. He's a former elected official. He was the youngest ever speaker of the Louisiana House of Representatives. And thank goodness Stephen brought him into our industry, into our organization. And when Stephen decided it was time to retire, Walt was really the natural choice. And he was appointed by the board as our new president and CEO. You may not realize that it's sort of rare for the president of a destination marketing organization like ours to actually be born and raised in that community. But that's what Walt is to New Orleans. He grew up where I did, in a community called St. Bernard Parish, right outside of New Orleans. And we're very lucky to have him. In a short time, he has made a big impact in our industry and is already a member of the executive committee of the board of the U.S. Travel Association. So Walt is a good guy. He's a great CEO. He takes really good care of us, and he understands the importance of the media and what all of you mean to us and how important that relationship is. So please help me welcome Walt III.
Well, thank you, Kelly, and it is an honor to be with you today on behalf of the great city of New Orleans. I couldn't be more honored to be with you or to be up here to invite you to please come visit us soon. It would mean nothing could mean more to us than to have you come to our community. And Kelly and the rest of our team works diligently to try to make sure that we can curate the best possible opportunity for you to enjoy one of the most remarkable, unique, and welcoming cities on the planet. I know that, as Kelly referenced, I am born and raised in the city of New Orleans, so at the outset, I will tell you I am biased. I believe that it is an incredibly special community, but I also know that time and again, when our visitors come to the city of New Orleans, they leave with a feeling of enrichment, with a feeling of contentment, and with a feeling that they got to be just a little bit more of who they are by being a part of our community. I think you know a lot about the history of the city of New Orleans that's been around for a long time, at least in terms that Americans are used to. A city of over 300 years old that has inspired artists and writers and musicians for generations. Soon you'll be able to hear from one of our greatest sons, Kermit Ruffins, inspired by the streets of New Orleans to the genius that he has become as a musical leader, not just in our community, but across the nation. And if you're with us at Travel South last night, you got to experience a little bit of that. But he told me this morning he was just warming up. So he's got a little bit of something special for you later as well. But this morning I want to not just invite you and welcome you to the city, but I do want to update you and bring you up to speed on some of the incredible things happening in our community. Our city's been celebrated for generations as a center of creativity. Whether it's our food, whether it's our music, whether it's our art, or whether it's just the beauty that comes from the people of the city that have all been inspired and motivated by the many different cultures that came together to make New Orleans the place that it is. But it's also a city that is incredibly walkable, unlike many cities that you come across in the United States. And I know today you've been blessed to be able to talk to leaders and hear from cities across our nation that we all admire and love. But certainly our city, the city of New Orleans, has things that we think are more than deserving of your time and attention. And we think that they, just as Tennessee Williams and so many other famous writers have been inspired, will inspire you when you come to visit our community. So walkability is one. Whether it's the French Quarter, which I know you're familiar with, inspired by both Spanish and French architecture, and the history there is very deep. Or whether it's our CBD, our central business district, our arts district, our museum district, all of these areas are walkable for you when you come to visit the city. When you essentially get downtown, you will have the opportunity within about a 2 square mile area to be able to experience some of the finest restaurants that the city has to offer, some of the finest museums that the city has to offer, and quite frankly, some of the greatest architecture that our country has to offer. We also have facilities that make it easy to host meetings and special events. Our Superdome, world-renowned as a sports venue, but also our convention center, which was recently LEED certified for sustainability, the largest facility of its kind anywhere in the world to receive a retrofit certification of gold LEED, something that we're incredibly proud of as we continue to build our destination into a more sustainable place, and so that people who travel from far and wide know that that they can reduce the impact on our community when they come because of the investments that are being made by our community. Hotels, 26,000 rooms within that 2-mile radius between French Quarter, Convention Center, and Superdome. Dining, 1,200 restaurants that offer and boast every type of cuisine available, many of them inspired by Creole and Cajun cuisine, but with a twist, whether that be Korean fare or whether that be Latin fare. The choices are endless, and for a city like New Orleans, we continue to kind of follow the tradition of some of our most favorite and popular local dishes like gumbo and jambalaya, where you bring together ingredients from many different places to make something greater. And then, of course, the culture, authentic, unique, and award-winning experiences like we just finished with the world-famous Jazz and Heritage Festival, but also things like French Quarter Festival and newer festivals like the Fried Chicken Festival, the National Fried Chicken Festival, celebrating and building upon tradition of cooking and led by local legends like the Popeyes franchise that continues to spread its wings all over the planet. The Audubon Aquarium and the Insectarium. You know, what's new? People sometimes say, I've been to New Orleans, I may have experienced it all. There's always something new happening, and we're very proud that the Audubon Nature Institute, world-renowned as one of the only national organizations to be celebrated in the top 10 for both zoo and aquarium. They're opening on June 8th of this year a new Audubon Aquarium and Insectarium with a $40 million renovation, a truly special building, beautifully designed and stunning on the riverfront, the great Mississippi River. So you can not only visit and access the Mississippi River, but also visit this world-renowned Audubon Aquarium and Insectarium, and get to see some of the wildlife that makes up the Gulf of Mexico, as well as some of the other waterways in our region. Speaking of riverfront development, it's incredibly important to us that people get to connect to the mighty Mississippi River, one of the most powerful waterways on the planet, one that is essentially the lifeblood of our community and the reason that our city existed and was founded. It continues to be one of the most important ports anywhere in the world, the 5th busiest in the world at any given time based on tonnage. And so we are also expanding our riverfront development opportunities for our visitors and for our residents alike, to make sure that people can access the river, can see it both working, but also can see the beauty of its flow. With the $3 million renovation of the Moonwalk area, which connects the French Quarter area to the Warehouse District and to the Convention Center, new improvements at Waldenburg Park that have allowed us to host major conferences and music celebrations like French Quarter Fest and others, a brand new state-of-the-art ferry terminal and pedestrian bridge, $37 million and $7.3 million respectively, and then Spanish Plaza, which is a true focal point and a major attraction that for many years it's sort of fallen out of favor, but with reinvestment and with new support is coming back to life and becoming a major focal point at the foot of Canal Street and the Mississippi River in our downtown area. Again, another image of the riverfront and the development happening there. Again, lots to cover. The river essential to our community in so many ways, and I think finding ways. You'll see on the left of this image the Spanish Plaza development and fountain area. To the right, you begin to see the Audubon Nature Institute, and then of course the greenery on the right is the Waldenburg Park renovation area that's become a festival grounds, and we continue to expand that downriver. See Jackson Square to the far right. Sorry about that, I'm not sure what happened there. Again, the National World War II Museum, a source of major pride for us, celebrating the history and discussing one of the most important events in the history of mankind. And the connection to the city of New Orleans there is really important because it's a story of creativity and innovation. A New Orleanian by the name of Andrew Higgins designed the landing vessel that landed at Normandy on D-Day and helped to win the war. And so through the founding of this special museum, through leadership at the University of New Orleans and many others, there's been over $500 million spent establishing this as a true national treasure, a source of great pride and a place where, again, also available to host major events and other conferences and things like that. New hotel offerings. So great new luxury properties of all sizes, including the Four Seasons Hotel and Residence. You'll see the Four Seasons to your left. That's the original World Trade Center building that has been retrofitted and designed into one of the largest Four Seasons properties in the world. It is also a residence and also boasts some of the finest new restaurants in America, recently recognized as Chemin à la Mer recognized as one of the best hotel restaurants in the world. Also, the Virgin Hotel is newly open, and a Kipton Hotel Fontenot property also nearby. Not to mention some really high-end and special boutique hotels like Maison de la Luz, Hotel Peter and Paul, and the Hotel St. Vincent. The last two of those are historic structures that have been that were convents and have been converted into hotels, entertainment space, bars, and restaurants. Truly unique offerings for visitors, and have been written about, but also would be great topics for you to take up if you're to join us and visit. The View Orleans, you see this view of the mighty Mississippi River. This is a museum and experience opportunity for those who first come to New Orleans. We recommend this as your jumping off point. It gives you a great historical analysis of the city, where we've been, where we're going, and also offers you a view on a clear day all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, which is about 90 miles away. This is at the top of the World Trade Center, at the top of the Four Seasons building, and so through a separate entrance on the World Trade Center building and at the Four Seasons, you can enter, go up to the 32nd floor, and enjoy a unique view of the city of New Orleans at View Orleans. Coming soon, just across the street from View Orleans and from the Four Seasons, a newly rebranded Harrah's property to a Caesars property. So for many years, Harrah's Hotel and Casino has been present in the city of New Orleans. In 2024, there is a rebrand and a brand new hotel property being added that will include a Nobu Hotel inside of the Caesars Hotel, as well as some incredible restaurants. Just this morning, I received an announcement that Emeril Lagasse will be opening a new restaurant in the property, and there are a number of other extremely well-known, respected, and beloved local chefs who will be establishing new high-end restaurant and entertainment options there at the Caesars property. So this, again, is at that sort of focal point of Canal Street and the riverfront, where we've been investing so much to establish this focal point that has, to this point, not been as accessible to the people of our city and to the visitors to our city, but another really important addition to entertainment and in our city. Best airport in North America. If you haven't been to New Orleans lately, you should come just to visit the airport. You may remember the old one. It didn't look like this. And so we continue to be very proud of it. It was opened sort of in the midst of all of the travel delays that we have experienced over the last couple years and the shutdowns, but it has been functioning at an incredibly high level, and we're very proud that year in and year out since 2020, it's been recognized as one of the best airports of its size in North America. It's also just a beautiful, welcoming place. And another source of pride for us is the intentionality with which they developed the food offerings and the other offerings in this facility. We've got restaurants from the late famous Leah Chase, who is a culinary legend. Her restaurant, Dookie Chase, and their family restaurant has been an icon of the civil rights movement and also of our historic New Orleans city for so very long. She has many locations inside that her family operates and runs, and it's been with a great source of pride to continue to make sure that people, when they arrive in New Orleans, they know they're in New Orleans. We believe very firmly that when you wake up in the morning, you know that you're in New Orleans. There's no doubt that you're anywhere else, and it's nice that the airport was also able to capture that sense of place and connecting to our community in a way that ensured that it wasn't just any other place that had chain restaurants in it, but it was committed to making sure that locals could participate. And so an incredible welcoming experience, one that we're very proud of. We've spoken about about being designed to welcome people. It's something that the people of New Orleans take a great sense of pride in. Our home is special to us, but it is also special to us to be able to welcome our very special guests. The Superdome is emblematic of that. This building is now a historic structure. It was built 50 years ago. And if you follow the development of the sports world across the country, you know that many cities build, knock down, build, knock down, build, knock down, new stadiums every 10, 15, 20 years. Well, New Orleans is a place where we balance progress with preservation, and the Superdome is emblematic of that. We've hosted more Super Bowls than any other city except for Miami, and we will tie them in 2025 when we host our 11th Super Bowl, an international show that we always relish the opportunity to show the world that we not only believe we have the infrastructure to host these events better than anybody, but we have the people that are welcoming and that execute these events as well as anybody in the world. And so we will be excited to host that event once again, but we're excited to host the many concerts and entertainment options that, that also come along to a phenomenal facility like the Caesars Superdome. Innovation in New Orleans. I spoke a little bit about creativity and how that leads to innovation, and I think sometimes we talk so much about the entertainment value that our city provides and the fact that it is an incredibly celebratory place that we fail to sometimes discuss the great innovation that comes along with it. So it is a great source of civic pride that we host a NASA facility that's designing the Artemis rocket that is currently on schedule to be the next rocket that will go to the moon and around the moon, and it will send the first woman and person of color to the moon. And so, again, an incredible source of pride for us as the creativity that bubbles up from our streets also leads to incredible innovation in a variety of fields. Recent awards. So awards are nice. We all know that, that there are so many awards out there to be given, but the ones that we cherish are the ones that are voted on by visitors. And time again, the readers and the visitors of these magazines and so many others have named us the best of the best, whether it's Travel and Leisure designating us as the United States best of the best food destination, whether it's Afar magazine saying that we are among the best places to visit in the world in the month of April, or whether it's Southern Living that simply continues to put us as the best of the best cities in the Southern United States. These are things that are gratifying and things that we don't take lightly, because we know that with TripAdvisor and with all of these other partners, that it's actually folks just like you and those who visit who take us to the next level. So with that, we'll get to a couple of videos that show you some images.